You're viewing the 2023 antelope, deer, and elk season proposals for the Baggs Wildlife Biologist District in the Green River region of Wyoming Game and Fish. A few items to cover about the presentation. This does represent the 2023 proposals for big game by chapter, that is chapters 5, 6, and 7 for the Baggs Wildlife Biologist District in the Green River region. Other season proposals for small game, upland game birds, waterfowl, wild turkey, and wild bison can be found in other presentations on the Game and Fish website, as are other big game presentations for other wildlife biologist districts. Presentation on changes to Chapter 2, the general hunting regulation, can also be found at that same location, and we'll share that website at the end of this presentation. In this presentation, changes compared to 2022. Hunting seasons are in red text with strike through on the deletions, and then the new proposed change will be in red text right after that. For information on seasons on adjacent hunt areas, we recommend viewing our sister regions and neighboring biologist season presentations if you have questions about those areas outside of this district. Map of Wyoming with the administrative regions. You'll note the Green River region is in the southwest corner of the state there, in that orange yellow color, with Green River kind of in the middle of it. Within that region, you'll see the 3 biologist districts, with the Baggs Biologist District being located in the southeast corner, with Baggs in the central part of that district, Wamsutter at the north central part. First, we'll discuss Chapter 5, the proposed antelope regulation for 2023. We'll start with the Baggs antelope herd, which consists of hunt areas 53 and 55. Just for reference here, those are the Sierra Madres in the southeastern portion of 53. Baggs is located in the southwestern portion of 53. Rollins up there in the northeastern corner of 55. Just a little bit of data before we go into the seasons. We did look at harvested buck horn lengths from field checks, and we did see some improvements to those horn lengths over the course of the last 3 years since 2020, in both terms of both the max horn length we observed in field checks, but also on average, so horn lengths there. So what you see on this graph in the red is hunt area 55's information, and then what you see in the black lines was hunt area 53's data. Just housekeeping, hunt area 53 is managed by the Green River region, and most of hunt area 55 is by the Lander region. Stepping back into the data, the average age of harvested bucks from teeth we pulled on those harvest checks for hunt area 53 was 5.3 years old. The average age in 55 was 5.8. So guys were killing 5.5 to 6-year-old bucks on a fairly regular basis out there. Guys were able to find mature bucks. The herd is 23% below the population objective as we modeled it. However, we did have a pretty severe winter this year, and that winter severity is not accounted for really in the model. It has no way of doing that on the current year. So we would expect this population to be probably much below that in terms of the objective after this winter. We did see excellent fawn productivity this last year. 73 fawns per 100 does, which is well above average and the best in 13 years. We did see pretty good buck ratios across the herd. That's 57 bucks per 100 does, well above the recreational objectives there. However, we did see 24 yearling bucks per 100 does as a component of that. That's directly resulting from last year's fawn ratio of 71. So 2 really good years of fawn productivity. However, a winter severity that is going to limit the effects of that fawn productivity on the population. Here's the season proposal for the Bags herd. We're going to see cuts proposed cuts to the type 1s in hunt area 53 going from 200 to 100. We're going to see a proposed cut in 55 of the same type 1s from 175 to 75, and then you're going to see a proposed cut there to the 53 type 7, which is a private land doe fawn only license. The reason for that cut is the private land issues for that license have generally been addressed, and there's not really any current complaints, so we're not going to offer that, at least as of now. The only doe opportunity left being that type 6, which is also a damage type of hunt in one area with particularly high pronghorn densities, that even through this winter we've still seen consistently high pronghorn densities that need addressed. Next, we'll take a look at the Bitter Creek Antelope herd. That is hunt areas 57 and 58. Just to orient yourselves again, southeast corner of 57, down in the far corner there will be Bags. The northwest corner of 58 is Rock Springs, that northern boundary being Interstate 80. A little bit of data before we go into seasons again. You'll see the similar graph in the top left where we looked at the average harvested horn lengths in the Bitter Creek pronghorn, and we've got hunt area 57's information in the black and hunt area 58's in the red. We did see maybe a little bit of a decrease in hunt area 58 this last year. However, we do have really small sample sizes there. Pretty flat though in regards to the harvested horn lengths for 57. Counter to that, we've been continuing the research project with the University of Wyoming in this herd. And so we're measuring Boone and Crockett scores on one horn of all the bucks that we check out in the Bitter Creek herd. That's 57 and 58. So that's the bottom right graph you see. So a little bit of a decrease in the 58 max Boone and Crockett score and average Boone and Crockett score. Again, pretty low sample size there, correlated with the horn length. Interestingly though, we did see increases in both the average and the max Boone and Crockett score in hunt area 57, which is interesting because we were flatlined in terms of the average horn length. So bucks put on more mass, grew longer prongs this last year out there, but didn't put on any extra length apparently. Average age of the harvest out there, 57 was 5.9. And then 58 was 5.8, very similar. Again, bucks are getting 5 to 6 years old. Got plenty of opportunity to find mature bucks. This herd is a special management, has a special management objective, which means pronghorn buck ratios need to be above 60. We met that objective this year right at 60. Combining 57 and 58, we continue to see better buck ratios in hunt area 57 than 58. We were modeled at 7% below population objective. But just like the bags herd, winter severity is not really accounted for in this model, so we're expecting the overall population to be a lot less than what the model is indicating this year. We did see 53 fawns per 100 does in the classification, again prior to winter. That's significantly higher than the 5-year averages. Still not great for a pronghorn herd, though. Again, with high winter severity, we're not expecting to see positive outcomes in terms of the population numbers resulting from those high fawn ratios. Here's the season proposal for Bitter Creek. It's going to look very similar to the bags herd, where we're cutting the type 1s in 57 from 400 to 200, and we're proposing to cut the type 1s in 58 from 100 to 75. Again, pretty much due to winter severity and the expectation that we're not going to have what we think we ought to have outside of a hard winter out there. Now we'll move on to Chapter 6, which is the deer regulation in bags that concerns mostly mule deer. Just a reminder, the herd covers hunt areas 82, 84, and 100. Orientation again, the northeast corner of 84, we've got Rollins. The southwest corner of 82, we've got bags, and then that western boundary of Hunt Area 100 is the Bitter Creek Road. And this covers some of Region W for non-residents. 84 not included. 84 is still a limited quota area. Just a little bit of data again. We modeled this herd 15% below the population objective, but again, just like the pronghorn, winter severity is not really accounted for in this model, so we're expecting that to be lower than indicated even. Buck ratio is currently below objective, not too far, at 27 bucks per 100 does. It's the same as it was in 2021, so not an improvement there. However, we are seeing improvements to the class 3 proportion of class 3 bucks out there on the landscape, which those bucks are 25 inches greater than 25-inch spread. That has increased from 4%. So of all the bucks we classify, 4% of them in 2020 were class 3s, 8% were class 3s in 2021, and 12% were class 3s in 2022. And the 10-year average for that is 9%. So we were moved above average postseason this last year, which would have been a December classification flight. But again, winter may affect that to some degree. Fawn ratios were above average at 65 fawns per 100 does. Again, we'll kind of see how the winter mortality plays out on the back end of winter here, but we're expecting that to take a significant hit. If you'd like to pause this slide and take a gander at the classification data over the last several years, that's located at the bottom of the screen there. Pretty interesting information there that we don't have time to get into. Here is the season proposal for the bags mule deer herd. We are proposing to decrease that season length in hunt area 82 by 2 days, going from the October 12th down to the 10th. We're planning to maintain that 3-point antler restriction, although with already having 2 years of the antler restriction, it's not ideal. However, with winter conditions, we felt like it was prudent to propose that. We also proposed to cut both the type 6s and 7s that were left. We had a bare minimum of 25 licenses of each of those the last couple years, and although 25 here or there is not going to make a difference in terms of population size, we felt it was prudent to just go ahead and do that. We're also proposing to decrease the Type 1 limited quota license in Hunt Area 84 from 50 down to 25. We're also proposing to decrease the non-resident quota by 100. That's going from 750 currently down to 650 would be the proposal. And just as a side note, the last 2 years at 750, we've had fewer residents show up for that hunt than since 1996. Fewer non-residents. As we know, we're at a point now without doe harvest that we're not affecting populations with the hunt. We're only playing around with buck quality and hunter satisfaction and things like that. So these changes are not going to increase the population. Only good habitat conditions, growing season conditions in the summer, and then light winters are going to help us grow this population at this point. Moving into chapter 7, which is our elk seasons. First, we'll cover the Sierra Madre elk herd, which spans across 5 hunt areas. That is hunt areas 13 and 15, kind of over by Encampment and Saratoga, hunt area 130 southeast of Rollins, hunt area 108 southwest of Rollins, and then hunt area 21 down there with Bags in the southwest corner. And this herd is shared among the 3 regions listed there: Laramie, Lander, Green River. Laramie's covering 13, 15, Lander 130 and 108, Green River for the most part 21. We're just going to cover the hunt area 21 hunt for this season proposal. Please check out our neighboring Biologist regions proposals for the hunts and the other units. We did fly our second trend count since the objective changed in 2019. That objective is 5,000, and it is assessed with the 3-year average of the trend count. So with only 2 of those being completed to date, we don't really have a 3-year average yet to assess that. However, we did count 7,600 in 2021 and about 4,350 in 2022. That lower count in 2022, just a few weeks ago here, was due to poor weather, just really difficult flying conditions. We were unable to fly about 2/3 of the Atlantic Rim due to a snowstorm and really high winds and poor visibility. So we're not expecting that to be super accurate, but that's why we do the 3-year average of the trend count, is to smooth out some of those variations. Bull-cow ratio in elk we were able to classify was a little bit closer to average than last year at 25 bulls per 100 cows. Last year we did have a really high spike bull ratio, or yearling bull ratio, that accounted for the higher bull ratios we saw last year. Again, kind of back down to normal again this year. With that, calf-cow ratios were above average at 38 calves per 100 cows. We are expecting to see a little bit of mortality on elk as resulting from winter severity this year. So the elk increases as a result of those calf ratios are probably going to be moderated as a result of the severe winters. The only change we made to hunt area 21, or proposed change, was we tweaked the end date for the general antlerless season. You can see and the fourth line there from November 15th down to November 12th. And then we increased the end date for the Type 6 licenses from November 15th to November 19th to give a little bit extra opportunity for the Type 6 license holders beyond the end of the general hunt to fill those licenses. Next, we'll take a quick look at the Petition elk herd. The only hunt area in that herd is hunt area 124. Again, orientation bags in the southeast corner of this map, Rock Springs in the northwest corner. So big hunt area covering the southern end of the Red Desert. This herd is managed recreationally, but functions more like special management for bulls due to the few licenses that we do issue. The public demands as far as the quality of bulls and the quality of the hunt out there, and the overall age structure of those bulls. The area is under satisfaction objective as a result for both landowners and sportsmen. We are currently meeting that objective with both groups, though there is some disparity in satisfaction among landowner groups. Limited population data exists for this herd due to its large area, limited flight budget, and really low elk densities across the unit. We could spend hours and hours and hours flying out there and only count a few hundred elk. So it's just not productive or wise use of funds. In 2022, we did pull teeth again, like we do. We age those bulls, harvested bulls, send out tooth packets. We hope to get good returns on those. The average age of those harvested bulls in the return teeth was 7.6, which is the highest average since we began collecting these data in 2013. With that being said, we've not proposed any changes to the current season structure or quotas for the Petition elk herd. If you have comments on any of these proposals, there's the website online. You can go to that website and submit your respective comments for the respective chapter regulations. You can do so also in writing and mailed to that address located below that. Deadline for comments is March 29th by 5 p.m. They must be submitted or received by that time. And then there is an additional opportunity. There will be public comment available at the commission meeting when they decide on these regulations. That is April 17th and 18th in Casper. If you have any general or specific questions for our personnel in regards to the Green River Region seasons, please call us at 307-875-3223, and that is the Green River Region office in Green River.